In 5.
This one's me. Do I? Oh, jeez. Hey, welcome back. It's 5 o'clock. I'm here. We're way out of practice, but thanks for joining us. It is Tuesday, and it's the Late Night Playset. My name is Jay Ryan. Thanks for joining us this evening. We have been gone for a week. We were prepping for the Luftgekuhlt weekend, GVBC up in San Francisco, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, at least the first part. After that, sorry, car people, going to be heavy on Dave. Letterman, Carson, Cheers, Archie Bunker. We're going to be talking about the heritage auctions coming up next month or later this month, and the James Comisar collection, which will be going with it. Lots and lots to talk about. We're going to be breaking all that stuff down. We're going to have the computer out. It's going to be great. So that's what we're talking about. This evening, we've got her. That's the good news. There she is, fresh back from San Francisco. We are worn out, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Yeah. On Instagram, we've got, we're calling this the window cam now, the Instagram window cam. And we've got you there doing your little voyeuristic actions. And then all the way up in Canada doing his own voyeuristic actions is Canada Mike. Although,
and I'd never have it any other way.
I think I called it Old Mike and New Nicole before. It might have been, plus Old Mike and New Nicole. You guys could have your own show.
I'm in.
Did I mention we're out of practice? Here, let me see if it's any better in here. We'll just do it over here. This will be better. We'll do it in here. Is this any more palatable in here? I can hear myself better. Holy crap. It's piped in here. Good evening, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It probably sounds normal to you at home, but in here, it's booming. Sunday! The podcast people, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to everybody. Oh, and then the Instagram window case. We covered that. All right, so that's it. We have told you what we're going to do. I guess we're already doing it. Will, get us going here, and we'll figure it out from there. Thanks.
Kevin, you gonna buy a Beamer? How's it going? Great. You too.
Yeah, we did it. We'll call that done. We'll call that a success. Are the microphones on? Did I do it? Did I forget to do that part? Hello? Check. 1, 2. Whoo-wee. Too much going on. I got this for you. There's that. I broke it, though, earlier, so there's a piece of tape on it. Welcome back, everybody else. We'll get to this later.
I appreciate it.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff here. Good stuff. Way to go, team. We did it. We did it. Good evening. Welcome back. It's Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023. Having a hard time with May 2nd my own self, personally. This evening is the San Francisco GVBC Luftgekuhlt weekend recap. And then the Comisar collection auction breakdown. We're gonna recap and we're going to break down. Mm-hmm. Welcome back.
Hello.
How's it?
Fun.
You have nothing, really? I know you sit here all pretty, but
I'm really bad at starting. I've been
you're not bad at anything. Don't worry about it. All right, I'll throw it up here to Canada then. Oh, is this working? Oh, it is working. Okay, good. Hey, fella, how you doing, buddy? Hey, fella and buddy.
I'm good, man.
I'm
it
Mr.
feels
Powell.
good to be
Hey,
back.
mister. What's up, kid? Sorry.
Doesn't it feel good to be back? It feels like it's been like forever.
Yeah, it does. I think there's a reason. I got too many goddamn cameras in this joint. I think there's a reason for that. Let's put us all in the same thing here. I think it's because we had a lot planned for April, and we achieved very little of it. We had some great guests planned and allotted, and then, our cat got sick, and that took a week, and then our cat died, and, that took a week, and we were prepping a trip, and then we went away. Somehow this month I got erased from my...
I've lost the whole month.
Yeah. So, from March to May. Yikes. Although I guess that means we missed all the April showers. Or no, we had tons of them and we were just dealing with all of the April showers. Well, Mayflower's coming up, folks. Yay.
Yay.
Yeah,
Has
look
the
at
weather
weekend.
returned to California? Is it the way it's supposed to be now?
No, it's going to rain tonight, I think, or tomorrow.
Wow.
Also, it seems to be it's like the movies, the day after tomorrow or one of those, wherever it's extreme temperatures, because like one day it'll be like frost warning, they're closing the grapevine because it's it's frozen at the top there, and then the next day it's like record breaking 104 degrees or something like that. So it was warm as hell driving up to San Francisco. I had no idea it was going to be hot because it was cold here, and then it was 98 degrees.
Ew.
You want to watch the show tonight?
No, I
It's
just
okay.
I have no sense of temperature anymore because I have to be neutral all the time. So I didn't know it was that hot.
And being neutral all the time is very new to you.
Yes, it is.
You used to kind of just grind between drive and reverse.
Yes, it was my happy place.
Oh, man. Is everybody else overheated? Because I am. Whew. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. I'm very happy to be back, but I feel very, very green. Like this has been a long time. Like when they say stand-ups, if you don't go up for a couple weeks or whatever. That's what it feels like here. I had to erase my brain for some other things to make space, like for the trip and for you and for other things.
I get that.
Now we're back. Very happy to be back. And now I've told you everything that's going on inside my head. All right. Well, let's do the recap. We left everybody here. Let me get that room open in case Irene pops in. Oh, she's already here. Okay, sorry. Present. I wasn't. Sorry, Irene. And Mr. Comisar. Yes, exactly. We'll be talking all about that and looking at the collection and the stuff on the auction. I'm here. Good. All the necessary people are present. We can finally begin. I was waiting on everyone.
Uber Yo-Yo and Pixie Commander have both bought badges, and we are grateful.
Yeah, thank you. And they're sitting there in the window case then? The window cam?
Right in there.
Damn it. Window cam. Instagram window cam, we're calling it. And then, of course, you can always do this. And then they get to experience that.
Love.
Now, now I need another pencil. Oh no! I grabbed a bunch, thinking, crap. All right. Gotta figure this out here. Oh, look at that! I found a treat. Oh no. Well, it's gonna be a long show, folks. Gonna take a while to get through this one. Okay. Oh, look what I found. That'll drive everybody nuts. Oh, Jay got a new toy. What's he going to do with it now? Oh, my God. It's like the night the kid was here. Johnny Lieberman's kid.
Someone brought that up the other day.
They did? What did they say? Oh, up north?
Yeah, right before.
What'd they say?
How did we handle all the movement?
Well, we weren't moving. The kid was just moving everything else.
That's what was curious to the viewer, like
They
how
wanted to
he-
know how I handled it. Like
how it. Very nicely, he said, "You guys,"
very nicely, he said, "You guys."
meaning both of us. Like, how do we deal with all the chaos of him running all over?
And what did you say?
I said it was chaotic. I was more eloquent a week ago. Now, good luck.
I think that makes perfect sense. You're talking about something chaotic, and it was indeed chaotic. Oh my God, there's a lot of stuff here. Holy crap! All right, let's try to get through it real quick here. It's booming. You're booming. It's about a big boom. Oh, that's very funny. About a big boom. I'm going to outbid you for late night set because one, I also have the password to your current bank account, so funding is so funding isn't an issue, and two, unlike you, I have the space. Glad you're back. Thank you, Irene. Thank you. We missed you. Thank you, Jay Franz. Missed you. David Heenan. Hope you all had a great time. Thank you. Light equals migraine trigger. Ooh, right. Sorry, barf baby. Apologies for the used to induce seizures, epilepsy. Yeah. Okay, so geez, we it was a lot to plan that trip, even though we only ended up going for a day. We ran into a lot of roadblocks, none of which got us down. We kept pressing through, but a lot of stuff happened. Ran into a nasty rattle before we left, and it seemed like it might have gone away at TLG. It certainly seemed they knocked around a lot of things down there, and they definitely said it wasn't anything to worry about. But then by the time we got up to San Francisco, we hauled ass up to San Francisco, by the way. We didn't go quite to San Francisco. We went to
4 hours,
Campbell,
right?
California, which is out, I guess, a little past Mountain View, but we made it in... I was not going to say it on the air, but yeah, she did. We made it in 4 hours. Can't explain how that happened. I think there was a wormhole somewhere. But it was a great drive up, and the car was making a hell of a racket then, but, is what it is. Sent a little video to TLG, and we went through, kind of the checklist of the questions, oil pressure, oil temp, stuff like that, and everything seemed fine. Water pressure, water temp seemed fine. So we kind of decided, F it, run it. So that's what we did. And it was nice, but, when your car sounds like that, it's hard to not think about it constantly. So that was like constantly in my head. And then everything we ran into kind of wasn't quite like we kind of thought it would be, even though... And I mean little things that seem like they would be little end up being big to us these days. We're at a hotel, so we booked the ADA room, the American Disabilities Act, a wheelchair room, a handicap room, disabled room. I don't care what you want to call it, the room that you can use. And and the room we got totally had the little medallion outside the door under the number and everything. But inside that room, there was absolutely nothing that was...
Nope.
Other than you could get a wheelchair through the passages.
That's
barely.
it.
The door closed off at the counter. Like, it was really... It would be hard to make it more difficult for someone in a wheelchair. But whatever. They were fully booked, so that's the one we had to stick with. And it was fine. We didn't complain or anything. It just was like a bunch of those little things along the way of like, oh, we kind of expected so-and-so, but it was all new and people up there don't know us yet. And then we were so stressed out when we got to the thing. All right, first of all, start with the thank yous. Huge shout out and thank yous to Oyster Ray, of course, Oyster Real Estate. to Gen, who is Oyster Real Estate, whatever, Inc. Oyster Ray. I'm autistic. I'm sorry. I'm not for everybody. I annoy the shit out of myself too. But Civilized Misfit up there, Chris from the R Group, NorCal, Loma Mar Market and Store, Jeff from there, and Skylonda Photography. There's just a whole bunch of people who helped facilitate all of that and make it all happen so that we could then just show up. Late. Man, we had every intention of being there on time, if not early. And you know how it is when there's a bunch of people getting a bunch of people moving and motivated. And we got up wicked early. And I got up, well, I didn't sleep at all, really. But we got up wicked early. I got ready. Then we got you in the... I had to help her get in because we didn't have a fucking wheelie. So then we get her in the stuff. So then she had to clean up super, super early so that we could then meet in the hotel downstairs for breakfast, which we all did. But then we had to meet again for something else, and then we had to meet again for something else, and we kept getting separated from David, and the car was way worse the next day, and we were like, it was just a lot of things made us about a half hour late. And then when we did get there, it was jam-packed full, so then like parking was an issue for like just a second, and I'll just do this right here and now. Sorry if I was short with anybody. It happens all the time when those moments are stressful because I am thinking about so many other things. I'm not trying to parlay this off onto you and make it your my actions are not your responsibility. But when I'm thinking about all of that and other people aren't because they don't know to, I get a little frustrated because I got to use my energy over here and I don't have time to explain it to you why I do. I just have to.
I get it. I've got myself doing this same thing.
And it'll all be fine in 30 seconds, but right now I got to do this instead and like whatever. So anyway, we had a great time and everybody was awesome. So I don't think this was an issue, but you know how it is. You can't stop thinking about it when you're not your best. So shout out to everybody. We loved it. We had a great time. Hope to do it again. We'd love to do it again. We want to do the drive next time. Get there on time next time. There's a lot of things we hope to do better. But the good news is, as a proof of concept, we got out of town for an overnight trip, which we haven't done in like 6 or 7 years.
That was a weird surprise I didn't necessarily expect. It's lasted the whole time. Until today, that good feeling
Oh, yeah?
of getting out of town.
Yeah. Just being in a different spot on the globe, your body.
Yeah. I feel like new experiences are good for everyone.
Amen. Agreed. Mike, do you concur?
Absolutely. So if you can ground yourself at a different spot, it gives you new perspective, energetically and also logically.
Yeah, also the vibes up in NorCal are pretty cool. I dig it up there. I mean, the drivers suck. They are not good drivers. I complain about SoCal drivers, and I don't know, maybe it's not that bad. The drivers up there they make no sense. First of all, everybody's in a Tesla. So the Teslas all have worked out their own little their little mesh. You know, they're all talking to each other, and they all figure their thing out. As a human real-life driver who's, like, weaving through all of that shit, they're just in the way. And they're just in the way enough and not, like, you can't, there isn't a gap big enough that you can zip around them in checkers, like, king me, you know. They just kind of drive in a thing where they're just blockers. If it was a real-life driver, I'd call it a blocker. Look at this fucking blocker. Because in racing, it's like a blocker. Like, it's just a teammate who just sits there so that the teammate can win the race.
I knew that never did the name. That's...
Oh, you probably had it in your sports, too. And
yeah,
and stuff, yeah.
But that's so annoying.
Tell me about it. So everyone seems to be that mentality. But also, maybe it's just they're all laid back and everybody's high as a kite. Because isn't that, like, Humboldt County and all that up there is where, like...
Up there,
kind
yeah.
of where weed was invented in this country.
Santa Cruz is a big...
Yeah.
And it's on the way, I think.
Exactly. Let's see. My daughter Lucy 8 likes Nicole's sneakers. Awesome, Jay Franz. I don't know what size she wears. They only sell men's sizes, and they're almost out. But what I'm trying to say is they may have some tiny sizes left, whatever the smallest one is. You've got men's 5, which is not the smallest. They go smaller than that. So I don't know. Maybe you could get a pair that she could grow into. I don't think those are going to fit an 8-year-old.
No.
Like the toys that range from 8 to 43. From Galoob. New from Galoob.
Enjoy it for 20 years.
Oh, I like that. I got compliments on my jacket this weekend because it's timeless. We bought it 10 years ago.
It's a great jacket. I like it.
I know, but I'm not trying to. It wasn't about the jacket. I'm trying to say another thing. I'm not trying to compliment my jacket. All right, so we did it, right? And then we left early because all of the stresses, all of the energy, we were exhausted after the event. So all of the SoCal people, shout out to the SoCal people, Guards Rad and Johnny from Dual Shift, they own Dual Shift. They drove up together. You all know Dual Shift because they put out all of the Good Vibes gear. Dual Shift is the official, your only official source for. What do we say with Rupert? Your only source for officially licensed GVBC merchandise or lifestyle gear. God damn it. Let's say that. Lifestyle gear, excuse me. Not merchandise. So Johnny and David from Dual Shift. You got Damon McCarthy from McCarthy Studios and his son, Brennan. They're father and son, but they're really like brothers, or best friends, the way they hang out and spend time with one another. It's amazingly awesome to me.
Yeah.
Very jealous of their familial relationship. It's very close. I love it. But anyway, they came up in the GT3. And we had Kevin Yee, and Dan Uber Yo-Yo. Anyway, there was a whole bunch of folks that we knew from, the SoCal GVBC, and we all went to Alice's restaurant afterwards, which is around the corner. Alice's in Woodside. And that was a great experience. I loved everything about it. The food was good. The spot was nice. The people were friendly. It's one of those places you run your own food though, and it's just kind of a weird thing because they give you the buzzer, which is we're all used to that. But so you go back to the table and then your buzzer rings out. Oh, fantastic, good. And you go back and the thing, and they're like, oh no, that's for your drinks. Hang on to it because it'll ring again with your food. And it's like, oh Jesus Christ! All right, so I ain't getting that tray of fucking shit. And then you go back and then you're waiting for 5 minutes later. Let's go get our burrito. Okay. Anyway, no big deal. But it was new to us. We don't go out for much. That's what it comes down to. All right, 25 minutes in, and I feel like we're right on schedule. Happy to be back. Adam Ferrara is performing all over the place. Check him out at adamferrara.com. Your only official source for Hello Deli. No, damn it, that's not right. Here we go. Too many things at once. I can't do it. Your only source for officially licensed Late Show with David Letterman merchandise is the Hello Deli. That's right. That's what I'm trying to say. And to help me sell this point is my Canadian friend, Old Mike. Get online and say hello to Rupert. Get yourself some of this merchandise. It is limited already, and Rupert is selling the deli, so that itself will make it even more limited. But celebrate the Pants legacy with us, and it's funny, it's more relevant now than it has been in the last 8 years. We thought he was done in 2015. Nope, he kept working. He didn't Johnny Carson. Dave's still with us, and we're still celebrating all of that. Hopefully closer and closer with more to share in the future. But in the meantime, say hi to Rupert. Hello-deli.com. Get yourself a hat, shirt, mug, etc. Tell him that Nicole says hello because
I cannot.
Tell her to go. I'm the chicken lady. You're Canadian. Were you a Kids in the Hall guy, Mike?
Very much so, yes.
So you get the chicken lady.
I do. Do you get this? These are the Daves I know. Do you know that?
Yeah, I do. It was Foley and no, I don't. Wasn't there only one Dave? There was a bunch of Scots. There was only one Dave. Go ahead. I remember
yeah,
it was a song,
he
wasn't
came
it?
out. Yeah, he came out with a video called "These Are the Daves I Know," and it played on our version of MTV, Much Music, and it went really big. And it was a song about literally all these people named Dave that he knew.
And who did that?
Dave. It wasn't Dave Foley. It was. Oh God, I'm.
There's
forgetting
not
now.
another Dave, is there? It's Scott
hold
Thompson,
on.
Scott,
Thompson,
another
Michael
Scott,
McKinney,
Dave Foley, the dark-haired
who
guy,
did it?
Mark McKinney. Did you say Mark McKinney?
I said Mark McKinney. Yeah, I'm gonna get
Bruce
kicked out of-
McCullough
Bruce,
is
no,
the
it was
dark-haired guy.
McCullough. It was Bruce McCullough that did it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when Mark McKinney came to Saturday Night Live, I was there that year, and he was only there a year. I say that year, and they did Chicken Lady, and I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I shared the tape with all of my friends, a tape of the show. I wasn't on the set with a B-roll. I mean, like from the show, and nobody really. Like the stoner guys thought it was pretty funny, but like nobody else thought it was as funny as I did. And maybe it's not funny. I should go watch it now. You know, it's from like 1995. Janine Garofalo and Michael McKeon and Chris Elliott, all there that season, all one seasons, like all oneers. There's somebody else too. I can't think of.
Siobhan Fallon, was she there that year?
That name doesn't ring a bell with me.
Okay.
Who is that? Any relation to Jimmy?
No.
Oh.
No. I'm trying to think who else would have been there. So
it's
that
okay.
was the last year of
I don't want to talk about
Sandler
it.
and those guys?
Yeah, it was. It was. No, it was. It was the last year of those guys.
Yeah.
They had already cleaned out like some others the year before, and then it was still Sandler, Farley, Rock, and then that was their last year. And then the next year, the next year they changed fucking everything, like from the band to the set to fucking everything, and brought in Sherry Terry, Will Ferrell, Nancy Walls.
What year was that?
94, I think, or 95. Somewhere in these are all like the 94, 95 range, something like that.
Got it.
94 might have been the last old year, and 95 might have been the first new year, something like that.
Yeah.
But Molly Shannon, sorry, it looks like Nixon. I was doing her, her thing here. David Koechner, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Not I think.
Colin Quinn
definitely.
did the news?
Colin Quinn did the news, exactly, because Norm did it previously. Norm did it in that last one. And then there was no more Norm. Okay, all right, let's see. We're going to get to... I love Chicken Lady. Steve Mazon's here. Mazon, I had a great time on your Temple of Doom podcast. I know that's not what it is. Your movie podcast where we did the Temple of Doom. Hell of an idea, though, huh? Should we start a Temple of Doom podcast, everybody, where all we talk about for 60 episodes is the Temple of Doom?
I'd like to see you do that.
I think I said.
I got to talk to that guy.
Steve and I said everything there is to say on his podcast. We are both verbose, also.
I bet.
Don't mind me. I'm just going to do a little bit of work. Let's see if I can share this screen. I think I can. Or do I need to download something? I probably need to download something. Allow me to visit the App Store, and then I'll be able to share this screen with you. Or I could do it over here. Maybe I'll do it over here. Maybe I'll grab that, because I think that's already got it. Yeah, I should have done this earlier. That's what it is. I was pretty sure it was here, and I didn't get to double check, I guess. Switch your cast. What did you think, Mike, when you saw the auction pop up the other day? And you know we talked about it on the show, but I couldn't say anything until the May 1st.
Yeah. No, and I understand why. Mixed emotions when I saw it. Obviously, seeing the picture, and I mentioned this to you earlier when we were talking. I loved seeing. It wasn't exactly perfect, when you envision watching the original last episodes of Late Night, but it was so close that it gave you the goosebumps. Seeing the dome over top is the thing that I loved. because you didn't really see that every night on camera in that regard. But when you see the far out picture and you see all of it, it's like, oh, like
You
I
mean
remember
the archway in the window? I got you.
the archway. Yeah, I call it the archway of the windows.
I'm
like
not trying to
to
correct your terminology. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. Like last year when I went to Disneyland and I saw the Millennium Falcon sitting there, when I saw that picture and it just popped up, because you see a little teeny tiny picture of the auction, you click on the auction, then suddenly you see a big picture of the original Late Night set, and it's just, it hits you like in the face, and you get the goosebumps and all of that.
An ultra high HD picture, which we have never had before.
Yes, that's exactly right. And ultra HD enough where you can then go in and go, okay, but then there's that. It's not quite all there, but it's magical. And then you start really nitpicking things and going in and looking at it and whatnot. And then seeing the other accompanying lots, the big Late Night sign and some of the other things that he's got up there. It's obviously just, for us, guys like us, it's awe-inspiring in many ways and a piece of television history. And I'm really glad it's still on the planet, as opposed to a dumpster somewhere like some of the other incarnations ended up.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting though, isn't it? Because like there's a reason those ended up in the dumpster, whether we agree with it or not. They were sort of deemed that they weren't to have any value. So when you say you have mixed feelings about it, so does this guy. Big time. Slapping that bass.
Yeah, and I mean, like you look at the bridge behind me. Okay, well, if that was deemed to not have value, that drives me crazy because for me,
no, but that's good. No. I think we're talking about the same thing, but in different terminology.
Yeah.
I want it to not have value. Priceless is a very good thing when it comes to these artifacts. The fact that there's potential for something to now soon be assigned a dollar value, I think is a gigantic mistake.
Yeah.
Gigantic mistake. And I don't mean in life in general. I'm not talking about his Carson auction or the other one. I'm talking about the Letterman stuff specifically. It doesn't align.
Absolutely.
It's not on brand to sell this shit around. It's not on brand. The microphone, okay, that's its own thing, right? But we have it. The desk and chairs, while they're ours in name and in paperwork, like we literally own them, they were transferred to us, I just can't see a world where I sell them. It doesn't feel right. Now, do they get moved on to somebody else or some other stewardship, or do they stay in the archive and get loaned out for uses here and there? Like, absolutely. Should they be seen? Yes. I just can't see, like, the museum gave them to us for free. I can't see me then going, all right, well, I mean, God damn it. We are, whatever. Our problems are not your problems, but, like, we could use that money. But we that's not in the cards.
It doesn't feel right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to work or not. I think I've clicked the right box. Turns out it was locked, and I've now unlocked it. We'll see if that does any difference whatsoever. Otherwise, I'm switching to this computer here, and now we are running late.
You laugh like old clients of mine sometimes, and I'm always caught off guard.
Well, I don't know what that means, but I assure you that I'm laughing for me and no one else. It's out of nerves, probably more than anything else.
I know you are, but you sound like old clients of mine sometimes.
Mike, Gordon L.,
yes.
Another great Canadian, Gordon Lightfoot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, R.I.P. Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, lots of people up here talking about that today.
Jay, give the set to Don. He already made space at his place for it. He said he's serious. How about Pat Farmer today? Awesome. Yeah, he definitely doesn't. Irene, I've been there. That would be amazing. We have already talked about where, whatever, there's so many things. This will be discussed for the next month. Once I get this open here, we can start tonight.
Yep.
I don't know what the... All right. Well, it is what it is. We'll figure this out. I thought to myself, the one thing I don't need to do, I'll just... How was your weekend, Mike?
I had a good weekend. I had a convention for my financial firm It was the first convention since COVID. So it was a small one. It was about 400 or 500 people. I got to speak for a while, and that was fun. I do enjoy the public speaking stuff a lot. So that was really good, and it was good to catch up with some friends from around the country. I really enjoyed it. I envy you guys going to Northern California, though. My last few years with Costco, I was a corporate trainer, and I would train down in that area January, February. It was that place has such a special vibe. I really, really enjoy the Bay Area. So that's cool that you guys got to spend some time there.
The people were really, really great. Like it was a great. That's what I enjoyed the most. The people up there. The vibe of the people was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very real but smart, it felt like.
Real but smart, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out I was doing everything just fine, and it was here. I just needed to add it over here. So we'll just do that again. Bear with me. Turns out I had done everything I needed to do. I just hadn't. Blah, blah, blah.
Somebody must have kicked out the plug.
Well, the truth is I don't think we've ever actually done this before. And I thought to myself, oh, I've done it other places. This will be easy to just set up here. And it wasn't. And I regret that now. But here we are. Everything will be all right. People have fast forward buttons.
By the way, I was gonna, the person who's taking small chunks of the shows and putting them out on your YouTube is doing a fabulous job. I feel like this will be a great episode for that. Lots of little sound bites and things like that. Whoever that person is, they are doing a fantastic job.
Devin from Auto Journey. Shout out to Devin from Auto Journey. I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Devin. Thank you for wanting to do it. Thank you for volunteering to do it. Thank you for being able to do it. And then finally, thank you for doing it. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. All right, so what do? I guess I will make this full screen probably, right? I think we're good there. All right, and then I can see if we do this. Does this work? All right, good. Okay.
There we go.
All this now. All right.
Oh, look at it.
So what I did was I just put in Letterman here, and I guess we should start there. I'm not going to spend time talking about the cue cards and the pictures and the jacket, this is all great stuff. I mean, the jacket's fantastic. This sign is awesome from the anniversary show. But I will start over here, where we start with the set pieces. Whoopsie daisy. This is going to be fun. $525. So these are 3 of the 5 traveler panels that instead of a curtain on late night in the old days or late show, they eventually moved to that garage door sort of up and down thing. Raise the thing, lower the thing. Back at late night, they used to have traveling doors, and that was a sort of a leftover from the game show days. You remember a lot of the producers in the beginning were from game shows. And he had the same thing on the morning show. In fact, if you check the morning show, the final morning show set, there were 2, is almost identical to what became the late night set, certainly in layout and format. And these are 3 of the 5 traveler doors. It's pretty cool. They're probably about 10 feet tall. Exit was all the way on the right if we were looking at Dave at the monologue, and then there would be another one that's missing. And then the one on the left in this picture has, if you look at the cursor here, right here, there's a dot there. If you zoom in on that, that would be the red light that used to glow. There were 3 light-up panels of the 5 panels. There was exit, there was on air, and then there was this red light. The red light is a leftover from the first late night set with these same panels, but it was painted to have a door here, like a blue walk-through door, like the one that's like the one that we have on our set over there, all the way on the right. See the red light above it? I'm mimicking that. Yes, that's how weird this all goes. And then obviously the on-air all the way over here would have been the panel on the left, and then there would have been another blank on the ultimate left. But it's neat. They're all hand-painted scrims. It's not done with a computer. If you were, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm going to get vertigo here. Oh, my God. I'm going to throw up. If you look at this, it's specifically not done on a computer. Look at that. It's as if they were done like a hand-laid mosaic. Those are all individually drawn and painted. You see what I'm saying, Mike?
Yep, absolutely.
It's all
and it's
on
funny,
one
like
screen.
even looking at them from a distance. Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. And a lot of the forced perspective comes from here, too. Even in the tile work, we talk about, Kathleen Ankers taught me a lot about forced perspective. She used it everywhere. This is a goddamn nightmare. Okie doke. I think it's because I have a mouse connected and I didn't bring it. Well, there, that's perfect. See how all the everything is sort of leads into this, go down the tunnel here. You can't see my arm, so you don't see what I'm gesturing. I'm really an idiot sometimes. I'm like, Anyway, these are very, very cool, and the fact that they're preserved is really awesome. And the fact that there's only 3 doesn't bother me because you have everything you need here to replicate the other 2 if need be. One of which is exactly like the one on the right, but without the on-air sign. Yeah, oh, get out of that. There we go. Oh, I bet that was it. It was because we had that stupid thing on. Ugh, fine. Anyway, back to the forced perspective. From the top, everybody. Just kidding. One is missing like the on-air sign, but you have the whole pattern here behind the on-air, so that you have that. And then one is like this over here. So, I mean, you have everything you need if you wanted to recreate the whole thing perfectly.
And are those notches on top?
Oh, go ahead.
Are those notches on top where they would go on a track?
All right. This is, again, her forced perspective illusionary wonder awesomeness. That exit sign, which looks like it should be at exit sign height, isn't really. It's actually lower to make this whole fucking space seem bigger. Everything on this entire panel is transparent, except for this bar right here, which is just a little metal bar screwed to both sides just for whatever. Kind of keep it the whole thing for rigidity. And then up here, this is like contact paper to make it, it's just a design element to lower the top here to here. You'll see it. If you watch the monologue, when the doors open, they're transparent.
Yep.
When the doors open, they're transparent. And it seems,
Yep.
you see the actual height of the ceiling or whatever. When they close, they put the lights on the front. You see the front of these panels. And all of a sudden, the height of the ceiling is brought down by about 1.5 feet, and it seems like it's bigger and taller when it's not really. Dave's just standing further away from it. And we've changed the perspective because the front versus the back.
There's so much
such an art, man.
that changes the whole thing.
That's why Mike thought we should do this show as well. He was like, you know so much savanty weird shit. And it's because I annoyed the shit out of this poor woman, Kathleen Ankers. Anyway, I don't have anything more to say. I mean, goddamn, what more could I say about those pieces? But they're
check
they're
the YouTube
awesome
comments. There's commentary going on in the YouTube comments.
Oh, good. Thanks, man. Let's see. Places. Okay, yeah, there is a bunch here. Jay, give this set to Don's. Okay, Mike and I talked months back about how obscene it is to purchase late night. Oh, interesting. Good. Yeah, I mean, I had a hard time with the fact that Mike had to buy his, but at the same time, I understand. Pieces that I saw dumped on the sidewalk. I saw those late show pieces being dumped. Yeah, exactly. Chris Gethard, somebody we sort of used to know a little bit, or at least ancillarily, he was one of the people who went and dumpster dived. Dumpster dove? Dumpster divin? Auto Journey. Oh, Auto Journey's here. Way to go. Nice, Devin. Thanks. Those doors, mine. I love it. Don Giller, I love it. I love it. I love it. Except for the no smoking sign. So you remember the old set too, yeah. So that might have been the second. That stayed, I think, through the second generation. The no smoking and the do not enter, no coffee or something like that in the studio, something like that. Don Killer's good. Give Don the doors. They help define living spaces without too much obstruction. Irene, I totally agree. Don can have anything he wants, I assure you. Those doors are probably 10 feet tall, and I've been to Don's apartment. I don't think it's 10 feet tall, although maybe it is. You might need to be that tall for all those shelves. Anyway, those are the Traveler doors from Late Night, and they're probably the same ones from the morning show, because I don't think the set changed, and they didn't fold it in between that I know of. It was only a few months, less than a year. Let's see. All right, this is a cool one. Paul Schaefer's original organ stand from the end of Late Night. Oh, here we go.
You want to switch it? There you go.
Thanks, buddy. Oh, only $11 currently. Interesting. I was amazed that these all started at $1. Mike and I noticed too. It was kind of crazy. Some of the larger sets have since increased to $100,000 reserves. This to me is just super cool. I don't know why. It was there when I fell in love with the space. It was there when I first saw it. I don't know. It just, again, for Mike saying the same thing about that arch, it's just familiar. It's been immortalized in, episodes of Family Guy. And remember that show, The Critic? They did The Critic.
Yes.
And I've drawn it so many times. Mike, I don't think I've shown those pictures on the show, but I'm sure I have. If I've never digitized them, I will find them. And
that thing would make a hell of a podium.
It's huge. It's the size of a Hammond B3 organ. It goes around a Hammond B3 organ. It's funny, though. In the Tonight Show set, I think they've got Doc's podium. This is interesting because Paul Schaefer has the one from the Late Show. He asked if he could take it, and they said yes, and they probably delivered it to his house. This is a weird thing. Like, this goes around a B3 for sure, and I don't. If Paul wants it, he should get it. Why? I don't know. Just because.
Yeah.
What do I firmly believe? Really, that all of this stuff belongs in the unofficial Letterman Physical Archive, which of course we started when we accidentally got this stuff here. I guess I started it a tiny bit sooner, but we kept it going with the stuff that we've got here, and then all of the things that I've been able to locate around the country since. There's I wonder if I got that picture here. Oh, if not, I gotta find it. Oh, I do. Look at this. Here's somebody who has the buildings that went behind this set in their living room. The set I'm sitting at, those buildings are in their living room.
I love that.
I know a couple of people who have bridges in storage lockers as well.
From Late Show. Yeah, you've helped me find some of this stuff, as a matter of fact. Thank you.
Let's get it all
right,
back.
Well, let's get to the Feast de la Resistance here and just bring it up. This is the Letterman home base. Currently at $100,000 with no bids. 30 days to go, though. Let's talk about what we see here, because what we see here is not really what the description does not exactly meet what we see. So let's allow Mike and Jay and Don's, if he wants, to pick this thing apart. What is real in this picture to authentic NBC 6A Kathleen Ankers Letterman? The desk 100% is authentic to 91 to 93, the final desk from the final 2 years. It's listed here as being the desk from the whole run. That's not true. The desk of this style was introduced in 1985 in LA when they did the week. Remember, Carson came out. He brought his own desk. Remember that? He had a cardboard desk of his own, and they had that whole bit. That was the first time we saw this style desk, the one from here. But it's not the same desk that we're looking at. They used it for whatever that is, 5 years or whatever. All sorts of things were done to it over those years. It was made just the same way that this one that I'm sitting at is, which means that all of this wood around the edge is painted on. It's not real wood. It chips. It has to be repainted. All the wood grain is painted on. It's fake. It's obviously made of real wood, but not nice wood like that. That's all painted to look like it's been pledged. After 5 years of beating the shit out of that desk, and I have this information both from Kathleen Ankers and from Lincoln Scenic, multiple people at Lincoln Scenic, but it's also obvious if you look at it. They replicated the exact same desk, but made it nicer. This was basically, they just did the window. I should have put my thoughts together on this a little better. I'm sorry. The window was brand new in 1990. Okay, they came back from Christmas break and the window was new. Don says they shot with it a little bit before the Christmas break. I totally believe that, but I don't remember ever seeing it on the actual show. But that whole toy cityscape thing is authentic and was new in 1990. They also revamped, sort of gave a facelift, paint touch-ups, and sort of just revamped the rest of the set at that time. At that time, they then recreated. God damn it! What is the matter with me? They recreated the desk. There. All right, there are two versions of that desk that look almost identical. One is the one for the first 5 years, and then one is a highly detailed version of the same desk. They did it with real wood. They did things a little bit nicer, a little bit deeper. It's got a suede top that's removable, so you can change the material if you wanted to. I'll see if I can zoom in on just that. Here we go. Well, see, now that would be better if we use the actual photo. That's where this thing gets you. All right, try it again. Full size. Wow, that's what we're talking. Whoa. Okay.
Yep.
There we go. At one point, because this is real wood now, it's not painted. It's all pieces of separate wood to get the curves all around. At one point, the one in the front, probably from somebody leaning on it or sitting on it or whatever, actually broke off, and they glued it back, screwed it back, whatever they did. Happened very shortly after the desk was introduced. They put it back not even right. If you look at it, I'm just talking about imperfections of how I know that's the authentic desk and how it's the second desk and not the first desk. It doesn't align here where the cursor is, and it doesn't align here where the cursor is. And you see it's below here, and it's below here. Doesn't mean anything to anyone in the world, but it confirms to me the authenticity that is 100% the real desk and the final desk. And I cannot do this any worse, so we'll just go back to it. So it's listed as being there, and the pictures, oh, God damn it, I could have just done this. Son of a bitch. Different desk. Different desk on the left, same desk on the right. Do they look very similar? Yes, of course they do, but they're not the same. Now that I say that, can you see that they're different?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like auction sites, when they photo match stuff, you would think that they are.
Well, this is not to anybody
that's the kind
else's
of thing
fault.
you'd
I'm
think
just
they'd
saying,
catch.
like, most people don't even know that there are two desks. I just happen to. Because when I asked as a kid, when I called Lincoln Scenic asking them to reproduce this for me, they asked me which version I wanted. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? And he goes, well, they both kind of look the same, but one's, nicer and it's got the suede top. And I go, what's a suede top? And they're like, well, it's removable. You can have, it doesn't have to be suede. Sometimes it's leather, sometimes. And then once I had all that information, then I go back to Kathleen Ankers and I'm like, well, it's got to have this suede top. Like, fucking Jesus Christ. So here's a cool thing. They included this, which is definitely the picture I would have included, thanks to Getty Images and our friend Jeff Vespa. This is from the final night, the final show, and you can. Yeah. This will be good if I can zoom in there. That's a very high quality photo of this microphone right here, and there you go. Look at that right there, where it doesn't align.
Yeah.
And this chip was there as well. And obviously it won't align on the other side either.
Yeah, that's a great photo match picture right there.
Yeah.
John
so
saying
it's
some
definitely
stuff
the real
too,
desk and everything. And that jives with, his Comisar's story of how he went and got all this stuff after everything wrapped. God damn it.
Yep.
How do you get out of this? I'm gonna lose my shit. Give everybody a seizure. I'm sorry, everybody, for the seizures. Flashing lights and I'm zooming.
Don saying some stuff.
I know. He's like, who the fuck cares?
No.
or maybe he's happy to finally have company. Let's see.
And Hank, camera 4 bought a badge. Thanks, Hank.
Oh, there we go. He's got a secret empty room that'll fit everything and more. Fantastic. Well, then maybe you can be the home for the Letterman physical archive that we have started amassing. Or grammar to that effect. You're fine. My grammar is piss poor tonight. I don't really think I recall the crane on the show. You mean from the photo? Yeah, the Trump Tower you never saw on the show either because it was kind of tucked behind the pillar. What we see in the image is not how it was set up on the show. There are a couple reasons for that.
There's buildings missing, I think.
Yeah, exactly. 3 of the main buildings are not included here. James Comisar has them. I mean, I've seen pictures of them. He has them in his office at home, so I'm sure they're included. They just didn't seem to make the picture. I mean, excuse me, I shouldn't put words in I'm assuming they're included. It says something about 20 buildings. And I would think that the whole set would be, whatever. I assume
complete.
They're included. But more so than that, what was I going to say about the Don Giller and the... the cranes. That's what it was, the cranes. This whole section This whole section was tucked in, so we only ever began to see it here. This whole Trump building was hidden behind the column where the bookcase would start. Again, nobody can see where my fingers are doing. This is a learning curve. But where the round column would be over here, if that makes any sense. They were just tucked in. I feel like everything is spread out in a straight line here, when the truth is it should all be set up in a corner, not dissimilar to how the late night playset is.
Right. I'm in a corner too.
Yeah, I mean,
It's good for the perspective.
It's a trick to save space, but I feel like everything is just sort of spread out there to both eat up the missing buildings and just eat up all that dead space. The pieces on the end are not straight; they're actually curved, and they should be curved towards us because the whole window is sort of a bay window type of effect, even though you couldn't see it on television.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all of that stuff is real. You never, ever, ever saw the Twin Towers on the show either, for the same reason. They were tucked behind the pillar on the left side, the column. So now that we're looking at this, let's look at me way back in the day. Not me, but the brain that I had. There's a picture I drew, not even sitting in the studio, just from memory, of course. But you see on the left is the Empire State Building there in the window with the spire sticking up just a little bit higher than the window case. And the World Trade Center can't be seen.
This was Jay's Math 10 class right here.
Yeah. This is what I was doing in school when I should have been doing schoolwork. And when they would call on me, I would have no idea what was going on because in my mind, I was in a studio in New York. Crazy pants with colored pencils. Like, what a fucking weirdo. What a weirdo. And the thing is, this is not one of one. This is one of probably 300 different angles and different, spaces and different. Oh, there's Paul Schaefer's organ stand over there. It was funny. In this picture, as I was drawing it, I go, yeah, I really want to capture how small everything is. And then so I made everything like double, triple small. It's so stupid because it wasn't actually that small, obviously. But it's crazy, the detail. I wasn't sitting there or looking at a picture. That's just like from memory. Really autistic. Autistic. All right, here we go. So anyway, the crane was definitely there. Whether I drew it in my picture or not, it was always there. Set isn't complete without the dancing waters. Oh my gosh, I agree. And prancing fluids, the confetti cannons. I want a confetti cannon. And the ping pong thingy. Well, the good news is, Dons, if you care at all, we are prepared for some of that because we do have the late night bubble machine. And we do like to turn that on from the desk from time to time. There we go. That's lovely. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
So stupid. But it's magical. I wish we had Paul Schaefer and some music to go along with it. Thank you, Paul. It's not quite the same. Okay. Let's see. I'm bidding 100,000 and one. That should do it. And thanks again for the done. Yes, you're the man. Check the pencil. I don't get it. Who the fuck cares? See? Yep, I knew that was there. There was a period when the background lighting was purple. Exactly, when it first came out. The Martin Short, we've never hugged publicly. Never hugged, period. That whole thing, it was still purple. Also, they did everything in stages. So, like, the home base was done first, that window, and then afterwards they did the whole Paul Schaefer side with the staircases and all that, and the other smaller arched window.
Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have known that. I didn't know. I thought it was one of those things where they went away for a break or a hiatus of some sort, and then they came back with the new set. But you're saying they did it in stages. That's interesting.
I'm saying they 100% definitely did it in stages, and Don's could go back and look at his shows for sure. But it was the window first, and he's right about the purple lighting. It was sort of a sunset-y kind of a purple thing instead of this bright blue. And if I recall, it might have even still been the old chairs, the new desk, but the old chairs, which would have been gray. And then
we should talk about the chairs as well.
Yeah, we'll get there. And
Okay.
that to me was like a very short. I feel like it was very short-lived, and it was still the red carpet at first, and then on the home base thing, and eventually they changed that to dark blue. They made the nicer desk, got the dark blue chairs that were the same blue as Dave's chair, whatever it came from Noel, whatever that blue color was. They matched those. and the blue carpeting, and right around that time is when they did the Paul Schaefer, the whole side with the windows behind him and the fire escapes or staircases or whatever those things were, and all that tile work that was the same as
his organ stand.
It was the same as the Traveler panels.
Or yes, yeah.
All of this stuff, which I guess you're right. I guess is all the sort of the same as the liner on the organ stand as well. Now, there were other panels here, or is there another page? Are there more? When I was looking at this previously, there were some other Paul Schaefer organ panel. Do you know what I'm talking about? There were some pieces that went
I only saw the
him.
podium. I only saw the stand.
Let's do Late Night instead of Letterman.
That organ stand is tempting. I got to tell you, I'm not. Yeah, I look at that and go, I could do something with that.
What could you do with it?
I don't know, man. There's part of me that thinks that I could host the podcast behind it.
Well, you could totally put a table there, like keyboard stand, and stand and have a higher chair. You could do that for sure. I mean, that would actually be pretty badass, and different than the rest of it.
Yeah.
And he could have the boom arm, the thing on the boom. You have the multiple mics, one with the yellow sock and one with the That's funny, Mike. I'd pay to see that. Probably cost you more to ship it than the cost of the thing. But it's weird because it's U-shaped. But if you were willing to break it, which I mean, you had your bridge restored, which to me I'm like gah! But if you were willing to go that route, I mean, you could always break it at the seams and then just ship it flat packed. Have the sides fold in. I'm sure it could be pried apart and put back together, and I'm sure you'd probably have to do some touch up on it anyway. If you're that guy, or would you leave it as is?
I would try and ship it as is and leave it as is if possible.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Something like that, absolutely.
Man, now see, you have a whole different. I mean, that is a hell of an idea. You saying it now, I can see it. I just want to merge these two photos. I would just want to get this together. Everybody get it?
Because this is a high table that I'm at. This table is raised off the ground. I'm on a stool right now. This shelf is like halfway through. It's halfway up the wall.
Well, what's your height of your table now?
Actually, I can tell you because it adjusts. 40.3
that's why I was asking,
inches
so you
high.
would tell me.
40.3 inches high.
44 and 3 inches. This desk would be 29 and another foot. Right here about is where a Hammond B3 is because it's right about at my hip bone because every time I tried to squeeze in there, I would always clank my goddamn hip bone on the thing. So I know that that's that. So... Oh, yeah, nobody could see me doing what I was doing. I hate that. That's just the worst. This is the goddamn worst.
Yeah,
I
see,
think,
okay, put the camera back on me. This is me standing right here. So it's pretty high.
Where's your hip? Yeah, it is. It's right about where it needs to be. Where's your hip bone?
Saying.
Where's your hip bone?
Hip bone is shortly under the table, but you're taller than me. Your hip bone would be like right at it.
I think you may have just figured this out. So there you go.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
Hey, Candy, guess what? You're gonna get mad at me soon. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm doing more internet shopping. So behind Paul Schaefer, there was in real life behind that in Studio 6A are all of the ropes for all of the lighting bars and everything that up at all of the theater rigging and everything. In real life, that's what's along that wall, and it was still there during Conan, and it's still there today. To access that stuff from the Paul Schaefer area, there was a little walkway that you could get to back there that you couldn't see, except that there were two little, just like the Traveler doors, they were just sort of hanging on whatever the heck, but these little panels with that same tiling on them. Yes. And it looked like a wall to all of us in America. It was like, oh, that's the wall behind Paul Schaefer. In real life, it was just a couple screens that would move back and forth. And those were also on this the other day when I was looking. And they're not there now. Oh, no, they're here, and they're included. I'm sorry, they're included with the organ. Here it is, with the privacy screen. Here we go. So here's this, And then these were behind him, and you'll remember them when you see them.
Oh, man.
And now that's at an angle because the stairs in the set behind went down. Does that make sense to you? Not
Yep.
really. That's what that angle's there, because there was a staircase in front of it. And here's the other one. And it's only half. There would have been another half to this. So he's got 2 of the 3, it looks like. But pretty cool.
Boy.
So you get sort of Paul Schaefer's whole little organ area, kind of. Enough that you could reproduce the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's
thing
neat.
jumped out at me immediately when I saw it.
That's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, like you pointed out, you said, I said the things that are real from this picture. The desk and the skyline are real, authentic. It's not all of the skyline, and it's not set up properly, but people were looking at it and saying, it looks like a nice replica, but it's not it. It is 100% definitely it. Trust me, I know. The things that are not authentic, the guest chairs are not authentic. He calls them recreations here. I totally get that. I don't know another word. They're just office chairs that are sort of in the same style. If you zoom in, they're very, very wrong, but you have to put something with the desk. Otherwise it looks, ridiculous. So I totally understand why that would be. How do I know they're not the real chairs? Because we have the real chairs. These are the real chairs. Those are the late night chairs that I drew here way back when I was a kid, and they used to be blue. And Kathleen Ankers told me that they paid a freight guy, the freight elevator guy to let them steal them from the show. That Dave's chair, the host chair, and the microphone they took. Now the funny thing is, those chairs in blue became these chairs. Sorry, it's not in color, but they became the same chairs. They just recovered them for the Late Show.
Yep.
And those are the ones that we have here, which is pretty wild. Back to this. The microphone, obviously not authentic. He doesn't claim it is. It's just another, of the same style, RCA 77. I think they call it a 66 in the thing. A 66 does not exist. That's not a real thing. I cannot be any worse at this. I mean, I literally don't know what to do. It's the word. I'm awful, and it's getting worse as I get frustrated. Yeah, we know where the real microphone is, right? We know everything there is to know about the David Letterman microphones used over the years.
I've never heard that story. Why don't you tell us?
Oh, from the top, everybody, sing it with me. So we have, obviously the one here, and then the one that I gave him went to wherever, and then Barbara Gaines thinks that's probably at Ball State now.
Okay, actually, can you say something about that? Because we got Irene Hoffman watching right now, and she swears to God she saw pictures of the desk, Dave's final desk, in the dumpster, but it did, in fact, go to Ball State, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, she's mistaken there. Sorry, Irene, you're mistaken. I have pictures of it myself, of it in the archives at Ball State, along with the marquee. Now, what you did see, I bet, is everything coming out at the same time. That for sure happened. But some things were preserved. All of the home base was preserved, and like everything we have here, all of that stuff from the end went to Ball State. The desk, the chairs, the microphone, the phone, probably blue cards, mugs, all that stuff, all the Emmys, literally the marquee
Pencils,
dojo.
probably.
The actual riser that all this stuff went on, it breaks up into 2 pieces, that went to Ball State. All of the archives and videotape, all of that shit went. But definitely 100% the final desk and chairs and Dave's chair and microphone stuff. And then I don't know where other things went, but I know for sure the George Washington Bridge that would have been like over here over Dave. Here, let's do the Dave shot. It would have been like over here somewhere in the final Dave set. The only suspension bridge in the window. That was taken out and preserved as well. I don't know where it went. It could have gone to Ball State. I don't know. It could be in your friend's collection that you mentioned, Dave. Mike, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the microphone there is just another old RCA microphone that they are including with the auction. And the desk chair is not right or real. It's the right color. He actually did a good job finding the right color, but it's not even close. But at least it's, it looks like a complete set. Ish.
Yeah.
I'm taking the pieces from the picture away that aren't real, and I'm looking at the fact that we have them, and the only thing we don't have is the desk and the buildings. And I just, somehow I have a feeling this will magically work itself out. Don't know how. Can't explain it.
And if that were to happen, where would that other desk go? I mean,
Well, that's just it. If you're going to sit at Paul Schaefer's organ stand, it's going to have to stay in the Letterman archives. But actually, it would, no matter what, it would stay in the Letterman archives. But
yes.
Previously, we were talking about sending it up to Canada so it could be used on the Letterman podcast. That was if we had the actual late night stuff here to do the real late night playset. Also, I don't know if anybody gives a shit about this at all, but it is true. Late night playset is a name and a concept that we. Here we go. God dang it! I'm gonna get this. That's the one. Late night playset is a name and a concept that I came up with like 6 or 7 years ago, when we first heard and found out that this was still in existence. I'd been chasing it my whole life. I had been close to it so many times, and near misses and wild goose chases every single time, and just never got there. And why the hell did I just start telling you that? God damn it. I'm the worst at this.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yes, please.
That is the one that is in your mind's eye as the perfect one, right? Like when you think back to the old wood desk, like to this incarnation of it, that doesn't speak to your heart the way that this one that's up for auction now does. This is the one that it's in your soul, right?
I mean, yes, plus 10. Like 100%. It's an obsession I've had my whole life. You don't understand. Like, you do understand.
I understand.
But most people
I'm
don't.
just trying
like
to ask you to explain
those
it.
pictures. There's many notebooks from school where I couldn't get my head off this stupid thing. It was like problematic. You know what I mean? It kept me from doing stuff. And
there's a lot.
And then taking the micro. It was like I was working my whole. God damn. It represents a lot about me. I think it's as in me as the 111 is, and I can't explain the how or why. It's really, really weird. It's really, really weird. But yes, 100%. Yes.
So for Auto Journey, this is a clip that we need to take out of this show. Like that, like I want to hear you talk about this and like, because you haven't, in the year that I've been here, and it's been just over a year, you haven't talked about that part on the show. How you're so tied to this.
I mean, I guess if you want, but I don't think that that's good advice at all. And Auto Journey, talk to me. Don't talk to him.
Hey, who's the producer here?
You don't have to listen to that Canadian, that pushy Canadian. You don't have to do that. You do whatever you think. It's hilarious.
I'm just saying, I love hearing you talk about it, and you haven't really talked about it on here very much.
Well, have me on your show, and I'll talk about it all you want. And then you cut up a clip of it.
Sure.
No, I don't know. I don't like because it comes across as fanny, and it comes across as what Comisar thought I was, which was a collector. It's like, it has nothing to do with that. I don't need to own this shit. I'm not that guy. I got it for free. It'll be given on to for free afterwards. I feel like we're creating this archive because why not? Because there's the stuff at Ball State, and there's all this other stuff that's everywhere else that will literally get forgotten about and eventually thrown away into a dumpster when so-and-so is the only person in their family who cares about it, and they die, and then somebody else buys their house and is like, get rid of all this shit.
Yes.
That's what happens to stuff over time. There's still a lot of people that care about this stuff, so I've taken it upon myself. Once we had the shit, it was sort of like, well, who else would do it? Why not? Nobody else is doing it. You're the only one who cares, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I sort of took it upon myself. It's by no means an official capacity. By no means. Yeah, but this is very, very cool. This whole thing is very, very cool. To see it again, to know that it's going to be out there somehow again is amazing. Because for a long time, it's sort of been precious. You know, he held on to his stuff. Comisar is
Kept
he is a
it very
collector.
close to the vest.
Yes, and he does it under the guise of preservation and protection, and I understand all that. This stuff doesn't need protection from me, despite what you may think. But I understand the logic behind it. So it's interesting that it's out there again, or will be soon. It's pretty cool.
Thank you for talking about it, because I think you talking about it makes it everyone else realize that it's not, you know, fanny. It's not. It's inspired, and I think those are two very different things. And the inspiration that you have, you know, to curate and to be a custodian of this stuff, because you're right, people do care about it, not because it's fanny, but because it's important. It's historical. It's to a lot of people, this kind of stuff is important. And I love that you are so unabashedly enthusiastic about that. I love it. And like, okay, so you and I met a guy online who has that same fascination. He has some drawings that were very similar to yours, and you're not the only one out there who feels that way. And I love that very much. It made me really happy to know that some of these people are coming out of the woodwork a little bit and talking about this stuff.
It is abashed. I am embarrassed. I am bashful about how I feel about this stuff and my attachment to it. I don't,
Until you start
because it
talking
doesn't make
about
sense to me, and I'm not like this with anything else in my life. I've been drawn to certain franchises in my life for various reasons I can't explain, other than they all seem to have kind of a highly technical element to them. But Back to the Future, I accidentally climbed to the top of that fucking DeLorean goddamn, you know, fandom franchise, whatever the heck, started by building my own little replica time machine, and then we ended up restoring the actual real time machine after we made ours good enough to be used by Universal. The same thing happened with Ghostbusters. I used to be involved in the Freddy Club stuff. You know what I mean? Like, these weird little childhood obsessions somehow get realized into real things in my life, and I can't explain how or why they do, but they do. And this one has been under my skin for so long, and it's sort of like the great white whale. So close, so many times, never been able to fucking find it. And then I'm friends with Comisar, but I still never get over there to do. You know, we've just near misses and wild goose chases for 30 years. And keep in mind, when I show you these notebooks, there are notes of like the things I used to talk to Kathleen Ankers about, the things I used to ask her. It's crazy pants. I was a nut, and I couldn't explain to you why I was so drawn to it.
I used to pour through those notebooks and not understand a thing other than how you called again.
No, there isn't. There's nothing to understand. I don't know how to do homework or take notes properly. I was just sort of.
I know, but I couldn't make any sense of it.
No, I wouldn't expect you to. Wild. Skills of a misspent youth. Grew up on the box, became obsessed with what was inside it. But because I wanted to make it. I wanted to make what was inside it.
It's inspired you to do things, and I love that. And Dawn is saying some funny stuff here as well. But I just love that you are inspired to act because of it. Many fans will sit and they won't do anything because of it. They'll just consume. This inspired you to do something and to get knowledgeable about something. I love that. And it's one of the reasons why I was drawn to you. Like, you know, it's enthusiastic about being enthusiastic about things is I think it's a beautiful thing.
All right, here we go. I'm going to back up a little bit. Here we go. Guess who would enter from behind Paul? No, I don't think that's true. Is that true? Oh, no, that is true. Absolutely. He's right about that. I recall that. I definitely recall that. So you did see those things moving on the show. He's right. Like if Steve Winwood was there or something like that, sometimes they'd come out. Yeah, he's right. He's right. I mean, duh, he's right. Duh. Surprise. Paul used to have what looked like car parking concrete strips. Ask Don's. Car parking concrete strips. I know what she means. We call them parking blocks in this country. Those things that you Porsche people bust their chin spoilers off with. I don't recall that. I remember the beginning when it was just a blue Psych or whatever color. Or Mike, you could take organ lessons. When are you taking this live? Hilarious. Irene Hoffman, the concrete strips enclosed the band. Then each time I went, it became more elaborate. Oh, this is at Late Show. I mean, I've never heard it referred to as concrete strips, but I do know what you're talking about. All of the there was
the lit blocks around them. I would love one of those lit block things. Those are cool.
I don't think we're talking about the same thing. You're talking about, Mike, when you say a lit block, you're thinking more like a Jack Benny. There's a name for those that go in front of each musician has one in front of them. Is that what you're thinking of?
Well, these things match the lighting on Dave's desk, and there were different parts of them around the studio with sort of the same pattern.
Yeah, but can you stay with me just for a second here? Are you talking about the things that were in front of each musician?
Yeah, they surrounded different places in the studio, including around the musicians, yes.
Well, all right, so we are talking about... All right, well, it doesn't matter. I don't have a picture to pull up here, but obviously I know every square inch of the set, so I probably have more detail in my mind than you're talking about. There are all sorts of things. If you're talking about the podiums that go in front of each musician, I think Paul took those too. If you're talking about the surrounds that went around, there was one that went piano shaped that was around the piano. There was another one that wrapped around from Paul's organ all the way around Felicia and Will. Those were on the floor level that you just simply stepped over. If you're talking about those, I feel like I might have seen those in the dumpster. And those, you're right, Mike, did match the same as what the... After Kathleen was dead, whoever the other guy was, I think you had him on your podcast, or you're gonna, whatever was down by the river underneath the bridges, it was all that same kind of fucking window look, like Dave's desk. Not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. But I get it. I'm wrong about the first new chairs earlier. Crap, I missed the comment, so good thing. Must have been a prop, Irene says. Saw a desk in the trash, maybe a prop, must have been. Or they were definitely bringing one out at the same time, but when I saw the desk being brought out, it was all bubble wrapped and everything, going into a van. First new chairs was the 5th anniversary show, taped January 26, 1985. Don's, the first time the desk was used, not this desk, but the one in these pictures, was in L.A., correct? Because when they came back from L.A., they retired it. There was a whole show after the monologue. They brought the old desk out, and the new desk was there, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
It's funny how everything... So there's so many facets to how the desk became the desk, though, and the whys of it all, of like why this square is cut out of the desk with the microphone sitting in it, and why there's a hole in the desk for the microphone cord when there wasn't at first. And all of those things happened in stages on the air. Dave would complain about whatever, and like, we need to put the thing through here. And so one night on the show, they would cut the leather. They had a union guy come out, cut the leather, drill a hole live on the show, because we're just eating time. And then all of a sudden, okay, great, now it goes through there. They have the audio guy come in and connect the cables because it's a different union, even though it's all right here. And then all of a sudden, great, there's a hole in the desk. And later they did this one, and later they did that one. And it all kind of happened over time. Nobody designed it and go, this is what makes sense.
Yeah, I've watched some of those moments where Dave is like, I want that changed. And they do.
Yeah. Why is that light on over there? It's not normally on. Stuff like that. That's very familiar. You can both move your studios to my secret empty room. It's cavernous. Excellent, excellent. I can't wait.
We're going to New York, baby.
This is going to be great. I know. Back to New York. You can go home again. I just wanted the tapes. Exactly. Bar baby. So what's the history of the current desk? What, do you mean this desk? Do you mean this desk that we're sitting at? Everybody knows that, right? I don't have to do that. This was the first CBS desk. This is the first desk after this desk. Final NBC desk, first CBS desk.
Mm-hmm.
Identical in most ways, but when they moved to CBS, there's a lot of things they weren't allowed to do. Publicly, it was like no top 10 list, no pet tricks, whatever. Obviously, they did them all anyway, but there was things like that, including the set can't look like it did. And Kathleen had a lot of different drawings that she shared with me of what the theater could look like, and she had different models made, of like foam core and stuff, of what the theater could look like. And some of them were awesome. Some of them were what we all kind of always thought it should be, which is like, a bigger version of whatever the late night set was. Not so crazy different and gothic and whatever. And that was sort of probably inspired by the fact that it couldn't look like what it used to. All the color scheme was different. Instead of blues and grays, it was reds and browns. It was like, it just didn't, it was all different.
Drastic.
Very drastic. And that was the reason for it. So that's why this desk doesn't look exactly like that desk, or isn't indeed that desk. Because if they could have just brought the shit with them, they would have. I mean, some of the stuff they did. The nice thing about the chairs is they just look like office chairs. Like you totally could be like, oh no, we're moving down to the first floor or whatever. You tell the freight elevator guy or whatever. It totally makes sense to me. I totally get it. And I know the elevator they use too. It makes perfect sense. Like the story totally jives. Because we used to use it for Saturday Night Live too.
Oh yeah. I think I know that one.
It's not the one that they bring the talent up, which is also a freight elevator. There's another one behind the studio.
I do know that one.
Because that one goes down to the secret private parking garage where all of the talent drops at.
Yes.
When people are waiting outside of the marquee waiting for the talent to come out, and they're like, where are they? It's because they went underground across the street.
We used to go there to get out. Yeah.
Yep. The stuff nobody knows. Gosh, I feel like there's more to do. Did we do it? I mean, shout out
Don's
to
still
James
making
Comisar.
comments.
What? Huh?
Oh, I just said Don's still making comments. He's talking about the desk questions you were asking.
Oh, I know. I'm not wrapping it up or anything.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure. I thought you said. I thought you said, did we do it? I thought you were like.
It's okay to be a fan. That's all I ultimately am. I mean, I guess, but I can't explain it because it's not. I was nervous when Barbara Gaines was here because I nerd out about that level of celebrity. When Dave's here, I think it'll just be a conversation. I really do. I really
like
have
that,
zero nerves about this.
I feel
Me too.
like that too, because we're similar in that regard of like, I don't get weird about famous people ever.
And not because I'm like cool or anything. It just, whatever is supposed to like, I don't know how to act. That doesn't. The closest is the Jay Leno show when he was here, but I explained why I think that happened. It had nothing to do with it had to do with everything before and my energy and blah blah blah. It wasn't about. I'm so excited that Jay Leno's here. Oh my God, my dream.
Yeah.
I'm very, very grateful to Jay Leno for coming here. I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I'll remind everyone once again that was a call-in thing. We put it out to the viewers and said, who do you want as a guest? And they wanted Jay Leno. So then I started asking him every week at Sunday breakfast at the place we used to go to. And he said yes. My dream come true. This makes me sadder that I'll be getting this stuff and not you, as the kids say, cry harder. I love it. Don's, you could totally put your computer on that desk. All part of the process. All sorts of hard drives, like the music cue log for me, and thanks again. All right, look. Wild goose chases and near misses. I told you. That's what life's all about. No separating the band on the floor. No separating the band. No separating the band. The ones on the floor. I got it. Yeah. And you're right about it getting more and more elaborate. I feel like they probably kept a production designer on staff, which makes sense. But throughout the later years, they did less and less bits with props and sets and whatever. It was kind of like, bring in the Will It Float tank, or Is This Anything, girls? Yeah. There was less art to it all. So I'm guessing in order to like justify one's job and keep their own sanity, I feel like it's Jason Kirshner, is that the name?
That sounds right. That sounds right.
You probably just noodle on what's there, right? Because keep in mind, you can't change anything. You're not allowed to change anything in the worldwide pit. Like, it has to stay the same for Dave, but we need to make it fresh for the audience or the viewer or the camera or the HD or whatever the heck, but we can't change anything. So kind of everybody's kind of handcuffed, like no matter what. I'm sure he would have loved to have changed the bridges to buildings or something or other over the years, or changed the color scheme or something. I'm sure they were locked into what they had. It's good enough.
I'm sure.
And Dave's happy. Just keep Dave happy. Dave's happy. You're doing your job.
That's all anyone cared about.
Yeah. Hey, this could be a show. Oh, almost.
More
I was
to come.
talking about Late Show audience chair fabric. Oh, yes. I'm pretty sure they reupholstered audience chairs, Don's. And I can help you a little bit with this. They for sure were, what color would you call this? Beige-ish? They were almost olive drab. It's a weird color. The khaki. They were almost khaki suede when the show first came on the air, when the theater was redone. The old ones were, I want to say, red or blue. And then somewhere, like 5-6 years in, Don, maybe more, they changed the audience chairs to red, and they weren't suede anymore. They were like regular old theater chairs, and I never understood why. I never knew. I thought the suede was much prettier. And the color. Maybe Don knows. But Irene's right. They did definitely. Yep, a new desk a month after LA, June 17th, 1985. There you go. But it must not have been like a full month after LA. It must have been the first show back. Maybe they did the show in LA, then they took a dark week or something like that. But meanwhile, they had the desk in LA the previous week with Carson. Right around the corner at NBC Burbank. Beautiful downtown Burbank. Does anyone have any of the original pencils or 3x5 cards? They're 5x8 cards Dave used to fling about. They're 5x8 cards. Oh, I hear somebody ringing in there. There you go.
So there's a double-ended pencil. There's a blue pencil from the Late Show, and this I got from Jay, a CBS before it was monikered the Late Show pencil.
Yeah,
so
the
they're
first
out there.
year when this desk was being used, they were using those gray CBS pencils. The first little bit.
Yeah. And thank you again very much for that, Jay.
Sure. Barbara, when she sat at the desk, she looked at the pencils and she goes, "These aren't our pencils." She thought it said Tonight Show, and I was like, "No, it's Tonight Show. It's Tonight Show." That was the name of this show for a little bit. It's Tonight Show. And then I said, "Oh, we have these other ones that I've got from that said CBS and whatever." And she's like, "Oh, these, yeah, these. Remember these?"
Oh, that gives me goosebumps hearing that.
The Will Bryson. I came in late. Is Dave coming? Hilarious. I mean, yes, eventually. Why isn't the current desk adequate? Why the lust? Well, the current desk would go somewhere else, and we only got this desk while we were looking for the other desk. This has always sort of been fine, and we're grateful to have it, but it's the one I was looking for is actually out there now. So it's not a, and by the way, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not a lust. It's not an I have to have it. There is zero of that whatsoever. I'm kind of just talking about it because I feel it's going to end up here. I just universally it feels like it is. I'm aware of how crazy it sounds. But yeah, it's not a matter of inadequacy. Not there anywhere. When Dave's here, ha ha ha. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. He still doesn't believe. That's funny. Our cave is different than your cave, Don's. By the way, I bet if you wanted, you could actually have Dave in your cave. I just don't think you want that at all. I don't think you'd want that even in a million years. Does Dave have the J. Thomas Christmas tree football? Still love to rewatch the Lone Ranger story. Man, I agree with that. I don't know if Dave's sentimental in that way.
No, they had buckets of footballs for things like that.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too. You're right. There is not one football. Why not the lust? I don't know. Yes, I loved the suede. Yeah, me too. They were just comfier to me, and I liked the color. This is an area I paid attention to. This is an area I paid little attention to all years. I know. We'll compliment each other. Nerding out on pencils is so true to form. Man. I'm glad that there are other people that are nerd out about this stuff. So what do we think? What do we think happens here? Do we think that somebody bids $100,000 and this has a chance at selling?
I'm going to say yes.
Who?
That part I don't know. Like, I have a lot of collectors in my world, and that's just my world in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. And I mean, I've seen some crazy things purchased. There are guys with obscene money that love things like this. It would not surprise me at all if somebody came along and there was some sort of a bidding war for this to be purchased. I would love it if it was somebody who could either bring it back and like you say, be a custodian of it or have a purpose for it, that kind of a thing. I would be so sad if it was somebody who wanted to just put put it in their private collection to say that they have it and then move on to the next thing and nobody gets to see it. But I do think it will be purchased. That's just my gut.
Wow. I hope we'd kind of break it down a little bit, but you kind of did. You kind of gave all your thoughts on it. Well, okay. Let me see if I can reformat the question.
Sure. Or give us your breakdown.
Well, I don't know because like what I think the end result will be doesn't make sense from where we are. How the hell would we end up with it? I'm not paying $100,000 for it. And it's not to say that it's not worth that. It's just that in my opinion, these things aren't worth money. I don't know what happens. I don't know who buys it. I don't know the fan that's bigger than me that has $100,000 disposable to throw at something that isn't going to appreciate in any way, shape, or form. If anything, I'm going to make sure it becomes valueless. So it's not like one of my Porsche friends who buy crazy shit, or one of your sports memorabilia friends who buy crazy shit that all appreciates over time. You can justify buying your crazy shit if 10 years, 20 years from now, you might get something for your crazy shit. I'm assuming that that's what the current owner thought way back when, and that's why what's happening now is happening. I don't know how that works. I'm not going to be the person who shuts this auction down for some. That's none of my business either. It's not my place, nor is it even my opinion that should happen. But I'm not able to build a future where somebody buys it and it ends up in a like, Mike, this shit is big. It's a huge investment of real estate and space, not just money. If you don't have a purpose for it, I don't know where it goes. I feel like just the desk and chairs hypothetically, flip this whole thing upside down. This shit isn't available, but maybe we find out it's in a private collection and we decide to sell our shit to fund it or whatever, or fund whatever the heck. I just said earlier I wouldn't do that. But hypothetically, the desk, the chairs, the microphone, the mugs, the pencils, like this whole little thing becomes a much more palatable fan purchase than a 15-foot wall of 10-foot buildings that's 8 feet deep if you want to set it up, and it's just as much space if you want to store it. I can't get there. I don't know who does that. And when I went to like the people that I thought we would give our shit to eventually one day, the National Jamestown Comedy Museum, they don't have the real estate to store something like that either. It ends up being like, who's got the free storage where they can either set this thing up and use it, or store it, fold it and store it. What?
No, I'm putting my hand up saying I do. I just want to be on the list. That's all. You were asking a question. I was putting my hand up and saying me. Don't worry about it. Keep going. Keep going. That's why I didn't say anything. Just keep going.
And no, I don't. It doesn't. I don't. I'm good. I'm done.
Who's got room to store this? Who's got room to?
Yeah, it's just a huge undertaking. And if you're not the Don's with some huge limited warehouse like he does, and the unlimited resources like Don's does, of course, as we all know. Now, here's where this becomes interesting and why I thought Comisar and I could figure out a deal in the first place. He's losing his warehouse. That's why all this stuff is going. He's making a choice to sell it instead of finding a new warehouse, if that's even feasible. I always thought that somehow, like, I never cared about the ownership. It was just more about the stewardship. And I always thought somehow that this stuff would end up with us because we'd use some of it here on the show and some of it would be, stored for the live shows, or, I feel like when Netflix comes, they already did it, but when they were coming to town to do the thing, the Netflix is a Joke, huge festival, I was like, they could have used some of those elements for the Letterman show just for the fun of it, way in the background or something. Stuff like that, I would like to make them available.
Yes.
If Dave's doing a new show for something else and they want to do a promo that's fun. Here's the thing. Spike and Seinfeld reached out to me once, a couple of years right now. Jerry Seinfeld, Spike Ferriston and Jerry Seinfeld, about what the fuck was this for? Why did they need this? Jerry was doing something. Oh, I got it. It's when Seinfeld was moving to Netflix. When remember it was on like Hulu or something else, and then it was moving to
Crackle.
Netflix. And there was going to be a whole thing. So Jerry and Spike wrote a thing where they were going to have Dave do a thing, and it was going to be a period piece because Seinfeld's from the 90s, and they were going to do it on the set. And Spike asked if we can use this set. He asked if we knew about the other set. I said, yes, they're both, I can make sure they're both, whatever. Anyway, we were going to use our set for this NBC and Netflix fucking promo thing. It never ended up happening. They ended up shifting it to the, I don't want to be a Pop-Tart, or I don't want to be a Lego, whatever the heck. They changed the whole thing into another bit. So it didn't happen. But we said yes, the stuff was available to be used for Letterman type material for the future. Hypothetically. All right. The Man on the Moon, not that, what's it called? Jim Carrey's movie, Man on the Moon. They replicated shit for the Letterman segments. We have the real stuff that could be made available next time that were to ever be done. Right. The Howard Stern movie, same thing. They replicated it for that. The Late Chef movie, they replicated it for that. If these things were available in an archive, because we happen to have the storage, I forgot, we happen to have the access to scenic storage, insured scenic storage, I feel like, I don't know how you got me talking on this, buddy. You really are one hell of an interviewer, you son of a bitch. The Letterman physical archive could be more than just these small things that we have. We could actually get and house all of this stuff and use the pieces as it's all supposed to be used. Late Night Playset, that's what I was coming back to before. Way back when, it was a concept. When we found out that the original Late Night set was available, we thought, boy, wouldn't it be fun if we could set it up somehow and create a show around it? And I created an SNL-type show called Late Night Playset, where it was basically a weekly 1-hour late night talk show, but with a revolving guest host where they would then do their own show each week. It would be their favorite guests, their favorite bits, their favorite whatever the heck. Basically, what shows that are doing, what the Daily Show is doing now with the guest host, and Kimmel started doing with the guest host, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's where the damn name comes from. Am I worn out yet? Sure. You bet I am.
It's a good one.
Good Lord. Mike, you're the only audience for this shit. You are the only one who cares about the things that you ask me. And
the people on YouTube who are asking questions.
Really? So we need the to will the desk there. Yes, exactly. And then, by the way, Barf Baby, and then this desk would go to Canada for the Letterman podcast because Mike up there loves this desk. This is Mike's,
yes.
like heyday desk.
And can I tell them what my magic microphone is?
Yeah, please.
Because I told you this, and I think I kind of took you aback when I told you this.
You did. I thought you were nuts.
Yeah. So if I could have any one of Dave's mics, a lot of people think it would be the very last one that he had, that one that looked, kind of modern and digital kind of thing. That's not the one. I love that one. But the one I would have, I love Jay's story about how Jay, he stole this microphone, and then he took the microphone that he had at his high school show, which was fashioned to look just like that, and then he gave that to Dave.
Started here, made its
there
way
you go.
Here. Eventually,
and then
it looked like that, and I gave it to Dave looking like that.
That's right. That's right. And then it ended up on Dave's desk for what, 5 years? More, longer.
I think about 10 years, because it was 2000, it was 96.
Yeah.
Right? It was early 96 when I gave it to him, and then they switched to the modern microphone in like 2005 or 2006. Again, Don's could tell you. But basically about almost a decade, I think.
Yes. If I could have any one of Dave's mics, I would have that one, because it is the link to like Jay, and Jay gives him this microphone that's ordinary, and then the wizard now anoints it and it becomes Excalibur, that kind of a thing. And it's my friendship with Jay, it's his. So to me, that has so much double sentimental value, and it was used on Late Show for so long, including on that desk. And I love that desk because it's the Late Show. So to me, that's like magic in my heart. I just love that.
I mean, I'll take it. It wasn't good enough for me, obviously.
Yeah, but then it became good enough because he used it. Like, it's so cool. I love the story so much.
I get it because you are such a fan. Like, I don't know if that part is appealing to anybody that isn't a fan.
Well, and a friend of yours. Like, to me, it's a double meaning.
Yeah, again, though, you're giving me too much credit, I think. The lighting's better in here tonight. I was wrong. I mean, it's right. It was all over the place the other night. Things were on, but they weren't at the right values. I don't know what the hell happened. It was like the kid was in here monkeying around with shit.
Sounds about right.
Greg Grunberg just sent me a message with text to the iconic TV sets and artifacts up for sale. Yes, we are aware. Thank you, sir.
There you go.
And somebody asked what the link was. What's the link to the auction? It's funny because that's exactly what he just sent me right now. It is ha.com. ha.com/Comisar. COMISAR.
Yeah. That's Heritage Auctions.
Yeah, if you want to Google it, Heritage Auctions or ha.com. Bought for firewood after the war. Maybe Dave is buying it to donate. Yeah, I mean, that's an idea. I mean, if he wants to donate it to a nonprofit, the Autoimmunity Association would accept it on behalf of the unofficial Letterman Physical Archive. You need to be its custodian. I mean, I agree, Irene. You have no idea the amount of hours and years I have spent. Mike, the desk belongs to Jay. Come on, my sweet. Yeah, no, Irene, the new desk would come here. The current desk would go to Canada. I don't know how much of the TV memorabilia is a good investment. Exactly. It needs to be insured in a climate-controlled warehouse and the like. Exactly. It does. And it's not a good investment in this case because I will make sure that it doesn't have value in the future. You can say it's worth a certain amount, but you have to find a buyer to pay up. Yeah, I mean, of course. Totally agree. I'm here with you, Mike. Oh, really? So you like that shitty microphone that I made for my high school show?
That David Letterman used for 10 years almost? Yeah.
I was talking to this guy. I'm talking to Jay France. And yeah, Mike is tripping again. I agree. Quit tripping, Mike. Why do all this? Every show that Don Giller gets a hold of is 2 hours long. This is going to be 2 hours long. All right. So did we go through all of the stuff here? One thing, Mike, I'll show you.
No, the sign. We didn't do the sign. Oh yeah, we did the sign real quick. That's right.
That's all right. I'll show you this thing though that I wanted that I talked to you about on. Oh no! All right. So and then move it, and then there we go. So, see this big chunk missing right here? Can you see that?
Yep.
That is, and there's another one over here. Those were cut into the Hero home-based desk, the good one, the good one, for my favorite fucking Letterman bit that is a total failure that nobody ever remembers. The forklift bit where they haul away the desk because of the parking tickets. They literally cut those in so that they could make this whole rig. It was on it doesn't matter. It's so involved, and it didn't even work. I mean, it worked, but they had to explain the bit to the audience, and that's never good. Dave's standing there after they haul it away. But anyway, those holes are there because they turned the desk upside down, and they fucking cut them with a Sawzall, and they made room to lift the desk up with a forklift so that Steve O'Donnell could haul it away with Gus, the forklift driver, dressed up as a New York City cop because Dave didn't pay his parking tickets. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I love it because it doesn't. Everything about it's a fail. But it was so elaborate, and they got so many departments involved, and it took so long that it became the joke for the rest of the night. And then Dave's standing on the home base area, right, with the guest chairs and his chairs there. And then just a mark on the carpet where his desk used to be. And he's just standing there with his hand in his pocket. And beep, 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 the desk and the forklift are backing out the 6A hallway. And Dave is now standing there explaining it to the studio and home audiences. You see, I didn't pay my parking tickets, so they came and confiscated my desk. And, I see. Okay, sure. And Paul chimes in, nothing like a big finish. It was such a fail that it's all Dave talks about for the rest of the night in between segments. And I love it. And there's the physical evidence that bit happened. Don's, what night was that? I agree, reserve too high. I agree, except that I agree.
Look at this.
I can't bid, but I know you've got the first episode of 1990 when this set is demonstrated. I don't ask for much. It was like I have it on tape somewhere. No joke, it might have been January 11th. It's either the 10th or the 11th, I think. And
That's our boy Andrew Torres right there,
Don's
Jay.
can verify it. Yeah, Andrew Torres is the only other person I know who is as obsessed with. Excuse me. Forgive me. So, he's the only person I know who's as obsessed with Kathleen Ankers as I am. Andrew, you didn't used to call her and like harass her like I used to, right? I mean, she was so sweet. I'm calling it harassment now, but she was always so nice.
The stories you told me were so sweet.
I asked her how to make all this stuff, and she would tell me. She really gave me quite an education over the phone, and then there in person. I always wondered if that's how I got found out that week, the couple weeks I was faking to be an intern, because I never really knew, because I never went to go to the principal's office, so I never really knew how. But I think once I was in with Kathleen downstairs, and like she knew that it was me, and then we were in person and all of that, I feel like she probably then asked somebody like, "Oh, well, we'll just have him in our department." And they're like, "Who?"
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. That's hilarious.
God, hindsight. I wish I had any follow through or any kind of courage when I was a kid. I was so afraid. The things that I had no fear of, there was no fear. But it's weird the things I did have fear over and blockages over. Bizarre. Like the fact that I couldn't tell Nathan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about what I did. You know?
Yeah.
God damn. So crazy. No, I didn't actually think to call her. Oh my God. I was lighting up the NBC switchboard. Every department that would talk to me. 212-664. The rest.
Show us the picture of your show again, Jay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. Well, Andrew, I think saw this picture already, but let's see here.
But I'm talking about you behind the desk.
Yeah, like
yeah,
here,
there you go.
Like there. I mean, he knows all that. I didn't draw all of those like he did. Those were like cut out, Party City type cardboard things that I made 3D and like, I kind of made the bridge out of whatever. His stuff that he made was so much more detailed, and I wished I fucking had that shit. I was kind of like the more technical version. And then the street light, which you can barely see behind the hair there on the fucking Peach Girl. That's Up With People, by the way. Those two girls were very nice and gave us time. They're from Up With People. But the traffic light was a nod to Mr. Rogers, of course. Yeah, there you go. And Chris, Andrew mentioned Christmas lights in his. You can see the Christmas lights in mine too. Sure as day. And then this moved to a different studio. And funny thing, you can see it's the same desk, but you see it evolve as well. There I had the yoke just screwed into the desk. Here I had it on a stand, but with a shortened yoke. Here I cut the hole in the desk and had the right, you know what I mean? It happened in stages for us too, even though that's the same shitty Office Depot desk.
I see it.
It's bizarre. And then here, courtesy of Don Giller, me top left on the high school show, Dave on the right on the early CBS show, going down bottom left. Dave, the first night the microphone was stolen, and he was not so pleased. And then bottom right is Dave using the microphone that is actually the same as the one on the top left from my high school show, just it's been chromed, and I bent the fucking stand down in the basement with a rubber mallet so it had the right angle to it. Totally true. Courtesy of Don Giller. And bringing us just about to the 2-hour mark, where this has been way too long. What else is new? I'm excited for this auction, whatever happens. I don't know what happens. I don't know who... Like, there's tons of people who have the money to buy it, but the people who have the money have the wherewithal of, what the fuck would I do with it? Now, if somebody buys it just to donate, like they buy it to get it to donate to us or somebody, museum, whatever, that maybe, but who? I can't get there either. You know, it's not the world it was a couple years ago where everybody's just kind of like tons and tons of cash. People are kind of like thinking about, I better be careful with my stuff right now. I can't just do all these frivolous purchases. I can't fulfill all these childhood dreams like we were doing pre-COVID.
I just hope something magical happens.
It will. Everything surrounding this is magical. The fact that we're looking at it here to me is magical because in my chases, I have both been told it was purchased. Well, at first I was told it was destroyed, okay? And I was told it was gone for good. And that was its own thing. And then later it was supposedly in a private collection. Like I've chased it so much. The fact that we're able to have this picture and look at it and that it will be moved somewhere else soon is to me the win. It's very exciting. It's no longer hid away. Does that make sense to you, Mike?
Yeah, very much so. By the way, my compliments to whoever lit it. It's lit very well.
Oh, man, that's the first thing I would criticize. Hilarious. God damn it. We are so different. I told you when I looked at this, I was like, man, I could have helped him with this. We could have gotten the right stuff. I could have given him mugs and pencils and blue cards, and we could have done all this right. I could have set it up in the proper. I think they're happy with what they got. And as
would
long
you
as
have changed the backdrop lighting?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, Comisar, do you really want to? All right, Comisar had this stuff restored. He had the buildings rebuilt. And I guess they were in sorry shape after he drove them across the country and whatever, and after they were stored for however long by the company. So supposedly he had all of the buildings rewired, repainted, and converted to LED lighting. So they definitely look different in that regard. But also there is ancillary lighting put in there to help highlight and I hate it just because it's not set up. This thing was set up to be a model kit, right? So like there's a way it snaps into place and there's a right way like of how it goes. And it's just not set up right now. It's like a puzzle. It's, hey, check out this puzzle. And it's all the pieces are just sort of thrown about. They're all on the table and they're all right side up, but they're not put together in the right way.
Yeah. Well, and
so
it
just irritates. And with that, lighting, I feel like is trying to compensate or something. And the wrong things are highlighted and whatever the fuck. So it's why some of the experts, like on your thing who are posting in AFL and your site, they've been confused. They thought it was a replica as well because it looks wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do about it. June 5th, 92. Desk and Tickskers. What could that mean? You can build that again. You can build that again. You can help me. I'm with Mike. The backstories are great. Oh, man, that's crazy. I didn't think anybody cared about that shit. June 5th, 1992, Desk and Tickskers.
That might be chairs.
It might be. Do the letters go in order? Is it to be chairs?
Regardless, it's not a date that aligns with new desk and chairs. That stuff was already done, 9091.
Oh, Dex and Tixers. Your Steve O'Donnell's.
Tickets.
There you
Desk
go.
and the Tickets. June 5th, 92. Thank you, Don.
Oh, we got to get that clip.
Thank you, Don. Well, and well, he can't do it anymore, but he would have been the one to do the compilation because it's the comedy bit of the actual. The segment with the actual bit in it. Oh, by the way, it was a viewer mail segment. It was what happens when you don't pay your parking tickets or something like that. And so Dave throws all his parking tickets out the window, the big cartoony window. And then, of course, Steve O'Donnell, all right, Letterman. And he pulls up and whatever. So then the whole thing happens. But so it's not just that. It's all of the different times Dave calls back to it throughout the rest of the show, in between the guests, before the guests, after the guests. It would have been a perfect one for the old way Don's used to compile shit. You know how he was just the best? He was the best at making all the comedy cuts.
On the official Letterman channel, every Friday they do. Hello. Oh, there we go.
I'm here, but I don't know if you are. I hear you.
I'm here.
Okay.
It just flashed away and then it came back. There we go. Every Friday, the Letterman channel does have, fan request day.
What's your point?
I'm saying we should get it on the official Letterman channel so it's immortalized.
Well, I know,
with all the cuts.
I know, but you already know that I made that request months and months ago, and it hasn't happened yet. So I feel like
Oh, I didn't know. I that escaped my memory. If that were the case, I'm sorry.
And then I sent the whole thing to you. Maybe you never watched it. I found that show somewhere in a very horrible quality. Somebody uploaded, and it's somehow still on YouTube. And I sent it to you just for the comedy level. I was like, if Don or Walter or somebody uploads a good version, that would be great. But here's the meantime.
Yes, I remember the crappy version, but I didn't know that you had requested to give it on the official channel. But yes.
Yeah, but I wouldn't expect it to ever make it through because why? Although for all the reasons I said of like it's so complicated and it doesn't work, and I bet Dave hated it. I would love to know what Dave thought about it afterwards because he's just standing there, can't even get behind the desk. He's just standing there. And he's got to explain it's not even his fault. You know what I mean? Somebody else wrote it. Now we're doing it. The other guys are acting it out. I'm just standing. Now I got to pick up the fucking pieces. It's so funny. And it's textbook awesome Paul too, because Paul jumps in like, oh, nothing like a big finish. Oh, God. Which is ironic, of course, because it was not a big finish. No, don't be sorry, Don. You got it. You got it. Mike photo.
I don't know what that means.
Oh. I thought you guys had your own shorthand over there. All right, should we wrap it up? It's been 2 hours of this shit.
Sure, whatever. I mean, there's still 11 people watching on the YouTube. I'm sure a couple of us are fascinated. I'm actually really grateful for the...
I'll put this up because this was, by the way, it was supposed to be we didn't do it. We're supposed to do a telethon episode at the end of every month to help pay the rent around here. But we didn't do one last week because of the prep to go away and we were out of town on Thursday. So if you get a chance now, please donate to the Autoimmunity Foundation. We know you have many options for your viewing entertainment. Thank you for choosing Cars and Comedy here in the Late Night Playset. LNP is brought to you by the AIF. The Autoimmunity Foundation is supported by viewers like you. If you'd like to know more or if you'd like to make a contribution or donation, we are grateful. And go to autoimmunityfoundation.org. Autoimmunityfoundation.org.
Autoimmunityfoundation.org.
I know I did a shit ton of talking today. How are you okay with everything?
Yeah.
Good. Dual Shift, all the GVBC merchandise is available through Dual Shift. They have new Dual Shift hats. Check them out at dualshift.com or on Instagram at dualshift, DUELSHIFT. Byron Bowers, Spiritual N-Word.
Somebody else has entered the chat.
What? I'm in the what?
Somebody else has entered the room.
Okay, what should I do?
Cut to them.
They're not here. I'm using up all my bandwidth with this screen, this computer. Maybe I got to take.
Oh, okay. I see them.
Hang on. Let me lose the computer because I don't need that anymore. Let me lose the computer.
Oh, there you go.
But oh no, I didn't lose the computer. Did I lose Don's? Oh no, I lost the Instagram feed. No, I need the Instagram feed. Here, now I'll lose the computer. I don't know, man. I don't see him.
Oh, he's still on my screen. I see him there. I could hear him and I could see him.
All right. Sorry. You want to have him leave and come back? Or maybe I'll kick him out. Or maybe I'll leave. Uh-huh. I love that we're figuring that I was saying goodbye and stuff, but whatever. There's no format to this. Oh, I still hear you. You're there.
I'm there. He's there. There.
There he is. Perfect. I'm glad you had me cut to him. Totally
it wasn't that a second ago.
Totally worth it. Yeah, Byron Bowers, Spiritual N-Word on Hulu, and he's around LA. Check out byronbowers.com. Also, go to Heritage Auctions, HA.com, and check out the other things that are available. I intended to get to, I thought we'd have time to get to everything, but I'm so long-winded, and you asked me questions that make me even worse.
Somebody else entered the room. Sorry, man.
Come on.
Okay, what should I do?
Now I'm listening to myself on delay through the net.
I'm using up all my bandwidth with this screen.
Don, are you there? Say something.
Oh, okay. I see them. Hang on. Let me lose the.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute that because it's annoying the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So I've muted him, but I thought we'd get into the Carson of it all and the Cheers of it all, the Cheers bar and the Archie Bunker set, whatever. Those are all on there. Heritage Auctions, HA.com. Don't bid on the Letterman set.
Oh, cut to Don now. There you go. It's worth it. It's worth it. Cut to Don now.
There you go.
There it is.
That is worth it. There's Gus and the forklift, and there's those holes You get it? I'm telling you, it's so bad. It doesn't work at all. It takes forever. Did I mention that? It takes forever, which everyone knows is the secret ingredient for comedy. It's awful and wonderful all at once. And you see they rebadged the bookmobile, and they made it up an NYPD police forklift. Thank you so much, Don.
There we go.
Oh, so good. So good. That is crazy pants.
And now we got the delay back.
What? I feel like there's some delays going on today, but we'll figure it out. All right, so go to that. Don't click on the late night set, or do. I don't know how it works. I'm glad that it has a reserve now. I guess a little bit, because that will keep people from just. It was $1, and like that could have been a million years. We could have watched that happen. It'll be very interesting. If you've got any good vibes and or want to make a gigantic donation to the Autoimmunity Foundation, no, don't do that, because then we got to figure this out. What do I hope for here, Mike? I don't know what to hope for. I don't know what to put out there in the universe.
You know what? No, I think we don't cast any judgment on any of the process. We just say that we hope that the process is that this stuff ends up in our world somehow, and by our I mean your guys' world, which we're all a part of, somehow, some way, and it's the perfect way. That's what I'm hoping happens.
Well said. And ultimately, this unofficial thing that we're doing, I would love it for it to be official with Pants, as we're now working with them on other things. So I mean, like whatever has been unofficial in the past as far as this physical archive and everything, like my intention is for all of this to be very official in the future. And if it is official in the future, then yes, everything would come home to the Letterman archive and then somehow be used whatever. I just don't want it to be associated with like, oh, it'll be the new late night playset and that's why we need it and want it and everything. Like, totally. I mean, it totally will, but there's a lot of other intentions as well.
Yep. It's funny when he said Mike photo, he had sent me this and wanted me to show it to you, but I'm glad we got to see it full screen.
See, now that's actually better. Unfortunately, you are very blurry right now. I wonder if it's because we have.
That's what we see, right? That's what we see. But normally it's good on the YouTube. So it might be good on the YouTube now. I'll let you know when it gets here.
No, why don't you? You frustrate the shit out of me. I'm telling you because I have the. I'm telling you you're blurry because I know you're blurry, not because I think you're blurry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we're good. We did the thing, right? I can close out the old CBS mailbag.
Yeah.
All right. This has been exhausting and wonderful at the same time. I can't believe that you got me to talk about things that I didn't want or need to think I would talk about. But I'm grateful to you, as always. Irene Hoffman, I call that grinding. Dave did it at the Tina Fey show because Netflix left the first 6 rows empty and it irritated Dave. Interesting. Mike B. F. Big Messenger. Okay, yes, he was sending that stuff to you. Oh, it wasn't Gus. Okay, got it. I just assumed to look at me. I'm assuming because he's a forklift operator. It's got to be Gus. I also haven't seen it in good quality in decades. But man, I sure would love to, Dons, if you put it up in a private video. I'm just saying. I don't know if you're allowed to do that anymore.
I love that you guys know that.
And I would never want to jeopardize what he's got going on over there as the official archivist. It's pretty cool. By the way, I know that's my term. That's my terminology. I don't know what his title is.
Mine too.
All right. We did the thing. I'm closing up the old laptop.
Good.
By the way, I definitely have one of those swelling batteries. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can't quite see it, but you can a little bit. 2016 is the last time I was at ESPN. That's a longer ago than I thought it was.
Me too.
And this computer's older than I thought it would be. All right. Thursday, we are back. Well, first of all, thank you, everybody. Thank you to Mike for being here. Thank you to Don Giller for being here. Thank you to you at home for being here. Grateful. Thank you for checking in the window, all you pervy Instagram window cam people. And Thursday, we're back with Steve Serio and Cam Ingram, two of our favorite guests. These guys are a riot. We went heavy on Dave and late night stuff tonight. We are going to go heavy on cars and Porsche on Thursday with Steve and Cam. Every time they're here together or individually, it is a blast. They're both so knowledgeable and they're both so willing to have a good time with us. Like they get what we're doing here. They're in. They play along, and I'm really excited to see that.
Me too. Their energy's great.
Steve Serio is the Real Bond Group, and Cam Ingram is, he's the Ingram Collection and Road Scholars as well. But I'm trying to think of what his personal. Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out on Thursday. Mike, thanks for being here, man. Don, thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. Love you. We love all of you. Please love one another. Is that it? Good night.
That's it. Love you. Good night.
Good night, everybody.